Tired of bloating, fatigue and sluggish digestion? Meet your gut's new best friend, NutriHealth 365's microbiome supplement. Restore balance, boost immunity, and feel amazing from the inside out. Smart delay release capsules. Real results. Gut health just got personal.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Friday's episode of Trending, brought to you in association with NutriHealth 365. I hope you're well wherever you are in the world and whatever you're up to this week. I hope you're having a good one. Right, we're going to talk about Ozempic this morning, which is, as many of you will know, one of the brands of quite a few of these new weight loss jabs that seem to be making headlines pretty much every day. Now, there's a variety of different headlines they're making. Some are sellout celebrities standing up saying, look at all the weight I've lost. Others are people warning of the potential side effects of them. Either way, it seems to be in the news daily. And the amount of people that are using these is actually quite staggering. The numbers are a lot higher than you would expect. I assumed, stupidly, this might be quite a niche thing that most people wouldn't take up. But actually, quite a lot of people are, because we live in a society where people want things easy. People want things easy. And give me a jab that makes me lose weight, that makes me continue to be able to put crap in my body. A lot of people are unfortunately gonna take that up. But the reason that we're talking about this morning is because Make America Healthy Again, one of the big campaign slogans of the Trump election campaign back in 2024, and in the lead up to that election, with the help of RFK, who obviously has organisations like the Children's Health Defence and is been well known as a big health advocate, talking about GMO foods and crops and additives and artificial things in foods. Well, Make America Healthy Again are now pushing a deal which Trump himself apparently cut with drug makers Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk to increase the access to these Ozempic drugs and lower the cost of them. Trump describes it as good for consumers, good for companies, and good for America. So you're making something readily accessible, which is known to have a number of health complications and health side effects, and something that also creates a dependency on people needing to have it ongoing, or it causes more and more damage to their body, or they put all the weight back on that they may have lost, rather than encouraging them to eat better by regulating food, by subsidising organic farming, by subsidising memberships to health clubs and fitness clubs. No. Instead, we've done a deal with the drug companies. We've done a deal with Big Pharma, which is one of those, umbrella terms, Big Pharma, to describe the deep state. Big Pharma, big banks, the multinational corporations, and then obviously career politicians. Most people would describe that as the deep state, or certainly fundamental parts of it, and the military industrial complex as well alongside. Well, in the last few weeks, Trump's done a series of deals with Big Pharma to make certain drugs cheaper and easier to access for people, when if it was really about health, you'd be doing the opposite. You'd be running from pharmaceutical companies, and you'd be trying to encourage people to go back to a more natural lifestyle, a more natural diet. But that's not what this is about. Make America Healthy Again was just exactly what I said, a campaign slogan. And just like Labour saying we're not going to raise taxes, they know they were. Just like the Make America Healthy Again slogan, they know they were never going to do any of those things. And I have been personally incredibly embarrassed on behalf of Robert Kennedy for what he's done since he's taken office, because he's done absolutely nothing. Everything he said was going to happen hasn't happened. Where's this study into vaccinated versus unvaccinated kids? Where's the blanket ban on the COVID jab in America? All these things that were going to happen. Well, what more information actually has come out about the dangers of the COVID jab that wasn't out already and not released by the government in America, being released by the likes of us who are talking about it and have been talking about it for 5 years. It's not come from them. We don't know any more now from the government than we did before this administration took over. So even the most ardent pro-Trump, pro-MAGA person, how do they square that circle? You were told the Epstein files would be released. They weren't. You were told that all these wars would be solved in 24 hours. They haven't been. You were told that it would be America first. It's Israel first. You were told that you would have a Make America Healthy Again initiative run by RFK. Well, how's that going right now? You were told that peace and harmony would be brought to the States. There's troops on the streets in lots of cities in America. It's absolutely laughable that anyone can stand and justify this still now. Even the most ardent, as I say, Trumper that doesn't want to admit they've been duped. The amount of mental gymnastics you must be playing right now to continue to hold your line of support for this man and his administration must be tiresome. You must spend most of your energy trying to figure out ways to justify these actions. Because America as a society is one of the unhealthiest in the world. Is certainly the unhealthiest in a developed country. Over 50% of American adults have one or more chronic diseases they are dealing with daily. It has some of the worst quality foods anywhere in the world. It has the highest dependency on pharmaceuticals anywhere in the world. In what is supposedly the greatest country in the world? Explain that to me. You've got all this land, all this fertile land that you could be growing crops, that you could be breeding animals, that you could be making really highly nutritious and healthy food for your population. Instead, you're spraying toxic chemicals, companies like Monsanto and others, across pretty much everything. Bill Gates, of all people, is now the biggest owner of farmland in America. That should tell you something. That should scare you down to your bones if you live in the States. Because why has he done that? He's not done that for your benefit, has he? Yet instead, you've got one of the unhealthiest populations. I cannot understand why this isn't the top issue on the minds of most American citizens. Because it's this bad now. How are they not looking at their kids' generation thinking, well, what's it going to be like for you? Is it going to be 60% have chronic, 60, 70, 80? Again, as we spoke about earlier on in the week when we were talking about children's health and children's weight here in the UK and other countries, health's a really important aspect because it creates dependency on the state. Particularly in a country like America where the cost of everything is absolutely extortionate. If you don't have health insurance and you get ill, you're in huge trouble. Or if you have an ongoing illness and you're paying premiums for health insurance, you're paying exactly that, a premium, which can limit other things you can do in your life, as well as the issue you're having with your health. Health is a huge aspect. I know a lot of people in this truth movement see this as an add-on. And I get moaned at for banging on about health all the time when there's other apparently more important things going on. Well, I actually don't think there is. Because if you don't have your health, what actually do you have? We can talk about politics, we can talk about the esoteric, we can talk about spirituality, we can talk about consciousness, we can talk about family, we can talk about all those things. But if you don't have your health and the presence of mind, a physical body that's able, then what do you have when it comes to any of those things? It's so important to take your health very seriously. Not to the point that you never have moments of, taking a step back and, in quote, enjoying yourself a little bit more. I like a drink every now and again. I like a takeaway every now and again. But I'm under no illusions that's not good for me. So therefore, I will balance that out with things that I do through my daily life, ongoing. If I know I'm going out to have a drink on a Saturday, I'll eat really, really well and not touch anything through the week to almost earn that. But the thing is, this is where the key is. That's a decision, and that's an informed decision. As I said earlier in the week when we were talking about children's health, as I mentioned, informed consent comes from knowing all the facts. Most people don't know all the facts, whether it's about what's in their food or in their water. And we're coming back to this story we're covering this morning. They certainly don't know the side effects or the potential damages long-term of drugs like Ozempic and other weight loss jabs. Because just like with every vaccine, just like with most pharmaceuticals, they will only tell you the information that suits them. If they're going to give you a balanced story, and in most cases, people are going to go, well, weighing up the pros and cons, I don't think actually this is a great idea for me. If most people are going to land on that side of the argument, it's very bad for business for them to tell you all the facts, isn't it? And unfortunately, that's the way this needs to be looked at. This is a business to these people. And you're the consumer. You're the customer. So they've got to hoodwink you and trick you and manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. And if they're going to do that, then they're not going to give you all the facts, because all the facts may lead you to land on a different side of the argument. That's the last thing they want. If the truth came out, and the real truth, I'm not just talking about a name of a few ingredients that most people don't know what they are. I'm talking about those ingredients with context of what they are, the background to them, how they are made, and the potential damages to health on the body. If all of those in every item of food, in every drug, in every drink was publicly available, I would be very, very conservative in saying at least half of the food and drug industry would be gone overnight. The reason that these exist is because most people are ignorant to the real ingredients and the real potential damages of most of these products. So that's why they don't give you that information. That's why when you go and your child is getting a vaccine, they don't give you the drug inserts from the manufacturer for the vaccine that will make you look at the potential side effects. Look at those ingredients in that vaccine, ask questions about them. They don't give you that. You have to ask for that. It's why when everyone lined up, or most people lined up for their COVID jab, they weren't told the potential damages and dangers of the drug. They were just lined up and given it. Hiding information and withholding information is what these people do, because the information and the facts are not on their side. That's why whatever the subject may be, whether it's this we're talking about with health, whether it's the dangers of lockdown, whether it's the truth of what's going on in the Middle East, whether it's human-caused climate change, whatever it is, if the facts are not on their side, they will censor, ridicule, and abuse anyone that is speaking about the facts on the other side they don't want you to hear. They will promote, they will champion, and they will eulogize over anyone parroting what they want the public to see and hear. If I stood up now and did a speech in the centre of Derby on my little soapbox about how great vaccines were, that would probably make the local paper. If I stood up and said, look how bad and dangerous vaccines are, it wouldn't. That just goes to show, in one small isolated example, of how they censor information and how they tailor what most people see. Because they know most people are not going to do the research for themselves. So, for example, let's say I've gone into my doctor's, I'm overweight, I feel like I've been trying for a while to lose weight, but I can't seem to do it. And all of a sudden my doctor offers me this new weight loss jab that may answer all of my prayers. Most people in that scenario are going to go, fantastic, sign me up. Very few, unfortunately, are going to turn around and go, okay, thank you for telling me that. Can you answer these list of questions, please? Or can you give me a bit more information? I want to go away and research it before I make a decision, and I'll come back and talk to you about it next time. Most people aren't going to do that, because most people feel, for one, they feel pressured, the white coat syndrome, where they feel pressured and they feel in awe of a doctor when they have no right to have any superiority over you. Most of them just parrot what they were told in medical school, which is what the drug companies want them to know. spend about, this country anyway, in a PhD, in a 7-year doctorate, they spend about a week on nutrition and preventative measures. A week. It's embarrassing. The rest of it is all about drugs. It's all about what drugs to give for what. Most people aren't going to do that. Most people are intimidated by that. And also, most people are ignorant to really how, and I don't say that as an insult, I say that with love, really, because most people are ignorant to just how evil these people are and just how much they are being manipulated and just how much these people don't care about the outcome. Do you really think anyone sat in a room that rolled out this COVID jab gives a shit when they read about somebody dying? No, they don't. Because that was still money in the bank for them. They don't care. They don't care about the damage, the people that have been maimed and had their lives changed. And with this weight loss jab, they don't care about the side effects on people's lives. And the fact that you've got the so-called Make America Healthy Again president pushing it and now making it even easier for people to have it without any disclaimer on the potential side effects of this just goes to show where his loyalties lie, and they're certainly not with the American people. I don't understand to this day now how anybody is still justifying this man, how anybody is still defending him, how now anybody is still on this train. Because how many more examples do you want to have that this man is not on your side? Ignorance is bliss for a while, as they say. But at this point now, you've got to be consciously ignorant. You've got to be consciously ignoring what is right in front of your eyes to not see that this man is a snake in the grass and he's leading you down the garden path. And it's time to wake up to it. Because he can try and do all these things, but if he's got opposition, if the so-called natural base of his turns and starts calling him out rather than eulogizing over him or staying silent over things they can't defend, he's going to continue ploughing on and getting on with it. He'll try and do that anyway, but he needs a degree of support. And if he doesn't have any, it's going to make it very difficult. Very difficult. Right, if you're watching with us on YouTube or Twitter, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We're going to carry on iconic.com. We're going to talk more about these prisoners being released. We're going to talk about Prince Andrew and the potential for a US extradition. And we're going to talk about a potential new paper mile tax on cars here in the UK. See you soon.